welcome to this video. And no, this is totally not my third attempt recording this because I screwed up. But anyway, what are we gonna be talking about is healer builds today. Because I know I always say I'm a DPS main, I'm a Cleric Arbiter main. That doesn't mean that I don't have a healer build. I actually used to be a healer main at around mod 20... Crown of Caldagon? I don't remember which mod that was. Anyway, and then eventually I just switched and became a DPS. So, beating around the bush, let's go. What do you see first, guys? Yes, I'm wearing interesting choices of gear, and I will refrain from telling you all the time where it's from because I actually don't always remember. I will try to tell you by the items I'm completely sure. But maybe first thing first, I'm wearing only one piece for divinity regeneration or expansion. This is because it depends on the group. When I notice the group is very divinity demanding, I switch to the helmet from MSH for divinity regen, and I switch to the shoes here, from Dryad Sanctum, I think they are, for also more divinity regeneration. But usually I run like this. So yeah, what does my helm give? Basically, it gives me outgoing healing whenever my health is above a certain threshold. This helm, don't quote me, I hope it's from from Shackles of Divinity. Same on my chestplate, I think. It gives crit strike, crit severity. Cleric has the advantage of the healer classes that it doesn't have a useful chestplate to run, in quotation marks, because bards and warlocks can run that debuff chestplate. And if I'm not mistaken, paladins can run the OP or the AP or chestplate. Or at least they do usually. I'm not sure how that procs. I know Cleric could run that too, but I haven't seen that proc yet. So we have the advantage that we can usually be on personal. As you see, I'm running this one. I also considered there's some other interesting options. Like there's this one, for example, which is from Demon Web Pits that gives outgoing healing. Then there's this one from Demon Web Pits that would give crit severity. I'm pretty sure you could make that work out too. Then there's this one from the Dragon Hunts that gives crit strike that stacks up when you're in a long fight. I'm pretty sure you could make that work out too. It's just the item level is a bit low these days, so it might be a bit harder. And there's technically also an older version of this one from Dragon Hunts as well. So there are options on chestplates that you could put. Then on the gloves, I finally got them. Yay. They're from oh god, I keep messing this up. From Shackles, guys. From Shackles. I got lucky to get them, to be honest. If you don't have them, fear not. There is a dozen of options by now. Like, for example, the Starforged mitts, they are from Moondancer. Then there's a newer version from the Imperial Citadel. Then there's some Seal Gear versions of that. So you're gonna find something there. Then for my weapons, I'm going with Masterworks because that's usually expected on the supports. You can make that fit in. Honestly, I also like going stat weapons, cough cough. For example, the perfect ones from Demon Web Pits for the stats, because it gives 10% stats. But as we figured, support is support, so you gotta run Masterworks. The cheapest way to get Masterworks, by the way, if you don't have any and you don't want to spend the money, is if you go into your stronghold, ask your guild leader about it, and you do Dragon Hunts. Because it gives you a currency that literally makes you buy... I don't have them with me right now, I think. No. That makes you buy Masterworks without spending any AD on it. They're literally farmable. I just farmed a set the other day. Yeah, so that's also an option. It stacks with those. It stacks with all kinds of... That's the cool thing about Masterworks. They stack. Doesn't matter which type or which version of Masterworks you're running. Then for my shoes, that is really old shit, but surprisingly it fits in pretty well, so I haven't bothered changing it yet. Outgoing healing shoes, IP gain shoes. I think I could probably also... There's some other options, honestly. Like, there are those from Shackles. This time I got it, guys. Shackles. I'm just not sure how valuable they are if you get them proc, because it's 15% of your maximum hit points. That might be a bit harder to proc. Then there are those. That's basically the same that I'm wearing right now. Don't quote me, I forgot where they're from. I remember they were from some campaign store. Maybe you gotta check in the collections. What else do we have? These ones, it's also pretty much the ones that I'm wearing right now. They are seal gear shoes. And as you can see, there's a shit ton of other shoes. There's this one, for example, also from Moon Dancer. Then as I said, those. Then I had those. I think that's also Moon Dancer, but advanced. What else? This one. Honestly, there's a shit ton of shoes you could wear. It's just, as you can see here, just hovering over that. Ideally, you want to go with something that gives you power or outgoing healing or divinity regen. To be honest, that's my stances on this. I'm going with those. They are, by the way, old Mastercraft. This is favorite masterwork, I think. Simply because they fit in pretty nicely, and I haven't bothered to change them. I really like them, and it looks good, and it works. So yes, that's it. But yeah, as I said, if you want to go for full divinity regeneration, you go with this. And with this, you look like a proper healer, as other people would say. But if you're fine with your divinity, you don't need that. So then on the next set, we of course are wearing Devout. This, for example, is the Merlif. You can also go the Apocalypse. That's also a valid option on Cleric. And the last one that exists, let me see if I have it with me, is here, the Vistani. But usually the Vistani is run by the Bard healer if there's one. Sometimes the Warlocks are on that, because for them I think it's easier to proc that because it does the stack. Yeah, so usually Clerics are the ones on Merlif. And actually Merlif and Vistani stacks, even though it has the same bonus, it is 2 different debuffs, luckily. So you can go with that. For my rings, I'm wearing the greys. For whatever reason, I'm always on Grey's duty. Maybe because I'm the Cleric, I'm spoiled on my chest plate. If you happen to not be the one on Grace, or you just happen to not have Grace, this is from Temple of the Spider, by the way. At least I think so. There's other options you can run. Like, there's quite a lot. I like this one a lot. This is from Semnet, because it gives severity and a shit ton of outgoing healing rating. You could go this one. There's a Crit Strike ring, or the old Masterwork ring for outgoing healing, or this ring. This is from Demon Web Pits for overall outgoing healing. There's another Crit ring, another outgoing healing ring. I think. Well, I don't even remember where they're from. Old stuff, guys. I haven't played in too long. You come back and you find your inventory, and there's so much useful shit. Yeah, so anyways, you see there's also ring-wise a lot of options. So I'm pretty sure you're gonna find something there if you don't have exactly this. Then this one is new. You can just buy it from the auction house. It might be a bit expensive, but it's worth it because of the item level and the stats you get. So I would recommend picking that up if you have the money. Then next up is the shirt from Soul Harvest. No, from Shackles. I keep confusing them. It's a nightmare. Okay, from Shackles, guys. It gives outgoing healing per person, 40. And then the pants also from Shackles. I got it this time. Gives also outgoing healing. It's like, if you have only one, there's actually pants that give more outgoing healing from Soul Harvest this time. I got it. Yeah, those. Because they give 7.5. But, the big but. This is a set bonus. So in the end, this gives more when you wear 2 of them together. Then on the enchantment page, basically just putting in whatever is missing here. As you can see in my stats, I would like to put more kobolds, to be honest. But I don't have more kobolds, so I can't put more kobolds. As I said, I'm a DPS main. My healer is not completely maxed out. But yeah, artifacts, you just go, of course, with the one that belongs to your neck set, and then just pick up whatever is free. For me, it's like the damage artifacts, to be honest. And then debuff, you just go whatever is wanted. Usually it's the Blast Scepter on the healer, or at least very often. If not, there's the Charm often on the healer, or the Blades. That's kind of it. Somehow they always make this work out. Then I'm going with the White Tracking Glyph and the Devils. The Devils, though, only for endgame content, because the Devils is currently relatively expensive. It's only 5% crit strike. It makes sense if you're running endgame, but if I run random dungeon queues or something, don't bother, guys. It's a waste of money. You don't need that 5% in a random dungeon queue. Then I'm going with action point gain, or depending on the situation, with movement speed. And with the Divine Aegis. I was actually thinking of getting the new one. I forgot its name. Don't scold me. It gives Divinity Regeneration 8%, and it also gives, I think, debuff or outgoing damage to the person that you heal. That also sounds pretty tempting. But yeah, for now I'm going with this because I got it for free from the Battle Pass. As I said, I'm a budget healer, so we gotta go with what we have. I was actually using the freaking Lightning Flash before, so this is an upgrade. Then where do we go? To the powers, I guess. We recently had a major update on the Cleric regarding dailies. Especially this fancy thing that now can freaking revive teammates if you stand there and channel it for half an eternity. It only can revive them at the same time though, and then it has a cooldown of 20 minutes, so you want to use that wisely. This one, Atsinoid Army, got its damage buff attached to it. This used to be a feat that you would manage to get the damage buff on it, so no one ever took that. Now it's actually viable, that's why I have it equipped. I spam it every time I have too many action points and not really anything to use them on, because it gives everyone damage, why not? Then we also had some buffs going on with Exaltation and with Divine Glow, I think also with Geese, but that's not that relevant. So I kind of like running whatever is available right now, to be honest. As I said, I don't really struggle with Divinity, so I'm not sure of Divine Glow. I use that sometimes, or mainly in single target fights I use that. In AoE, I kind of go with Exaltation, or as I have right now equipped, with Intercession, because there's obviously always someone who nearly suicides, so this is kind of convenient. Other than that, yeah, Exaltation. For the feats, Expanded Divinity, definitely, and whenever you're healing, well, whenever you're close, you're healing more. And now to the new changes in this feat here, because what we used to run here, because the other one was Atsinoid Army, was the lower one actually. Like, it would summon the Guardian of Faith, and then after its initial magnitude it would just stay up and heal for more, which was convenient at the time because the other feat was not very useful. Nowadays that kind of has changed, because now you can modify your Hallowed Ground to give more damage reduction, plus give a 15% recharge speed bonus. The thing is, the Hallowed Ground stays for 18 seconds. This is not my recharge speed build, but for example my recharge speed and action point game build, I can have a daily every 25 seconds, so almost constantly up. On this one it takes a bit longer, but it's still really good to give allies that recharge speed. So for me, the Hallowed Ground is a clear win, especially with the more mitigation. For example, in Shackles, this is really helpful. But if you're a newer Cleric and you're struggling with healing, honestly, I would say go with this feat, because if you really have issues like managing your divinity or keeping your allies alive, you will probably benefit from that additional heal after using the daily. That's my stance on this, and my voice is failing me. And on the last feat, I'm always going with Angel of Life. I'm not sure how other healers used to do it these days. I know back in the days this one was a thing. It's basically because I don't really use Mark of Divinity that much, so all the feats that affect Mark of Divinity, I'm not really running them, because it's this I'm not in a party, so I can't demonstrate, but it's those tiny wings that you put on people. And this one is basically just when you're out of divinity, you're standing around like a maniac for 4 seconds, channel divinity, and then you get free divinity for a few seconds. That can really save your life. I don't really need to use it that often anymore these days, but I used to. So it's kind of a backup plan. Boons. Yeah. Get boons, just whatever kind of fits in, to be honest. Campaign boons, yeah. I have a total of 128. I think that is the current maximum in the game. You don't really need all the stuff I have. I just have it because I have it. For example, all those HP boons, I just went with them at some point because there was nothing else to go for. I have 3 master boons. Those 2 here are definitely a must-have for a healer. And then I expanded to the left and to the right a bit. Same with those. Yeah, I have freaking stamina regen. You don't need that on a healer. Or forte. I just have that. As I said, I have the means, so why not go for it? On the companions, pretty basic. There's this nice, relatively old, well, never mind, it's the new one. I was on my bar yesterday, I have older one there. So outgoing healing and control resistance, because there is other ones that give outgoing healing, incoming healing, and also some for outgoing healing crit strike. So you could also go with those. I think the outgoing healing crit strike ones are the cheapest ones because the item level is a bit lower. So I can recommend those. Then here, the Raptor, of course. Then I'm going with full power down here. The Deep Crow for power and the Combi for power. The Golden Bullet and the Quakeling. Fortunately enough, guys, the Quakeling is really cheap these days. I'm surprised, it used to be a lot. So this is an easy one to pick up. If you don't have the Golden Bullet, don't worry, there is other options. For example, the Polar Bear here. That also gives outgoing healing, but then defense, it's split companion. And then there's also the Neverwinter Guardian, I think he's called. If I find him now. Let me just look for him here, because I have some other options, this guy, I think. Yeah, awareness, outgoing healing, this guy. Then I think this one, no. Here, there's another version of it. I think this one you get for free when you complete the Avernus campaign. The Valen has one. Then you could also try to go for critical strike instead if you move the stats a bit around. I'm pretty sure that fits too. And then what I used to do a lot is those split companions, power crit strike, or where's the other one? Hello? Power crit severity. So even when you can't get your hands on a Combi or a Golden Bullet, I'm pretty sure you can make this work out by slotting in other ones. Companions, well, pretty much support. Whatever you have, support. Like the Tutor, the Spine Devil, the Scorpion, I don't know, what else? The Drummer, the Lion. I don't have a Portobello. There's a Blue Eye, a Trist. Because I never bothered to get a Portobello, it's too expensive. This time I'm saving for it, but I used to always use this stuff for coal modes or stuff. So I don't have one. Then on the mounts, Mystic Aura, Runic Aura. I think there's another aura. I'm not too sure, I took too long of a break. Wait, Mystic Aura, Runic Aura, Pack Tactics, and then there's another aura. But yeah, I'm not sure about the last one. And debuff. I'm going with the Eclipse. There's a lot of other options by now. Like Calderon, or Vortex, or Pegasus. Yeah. Whatever you have, guys, honestly. These are my insignias. Yes, they look a bit shrubby, honestly. That, as I said, is because I'm a DPS main. I am running DPS insignias on my healer. So I'm kind of forced to make do with what I have. Cough cough, that's totally the reason why I'm running a skill one here. But, well. Yeah, what I find important is just to have one of these magistrate thingies here, a shepherd and a gladiator, and then I just filled up with a mandarin and executioner. You could go lionhearts or something, but I happen to have the stuff for those, so I went with those. I would say these three are the important ones for sure. Like the gladiator to speed you up, and then the shepherd for your dailies. Yo, I think that's it. I think we're done, guys. This was my healer. I hope that helped you. I hope I managed to convey a bit how to get gear or how to get alternatives of gear that can always work out. And yes, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care.